So our shop air is a 2-inch pipe down to a 1/2 inch, and then we have these air reels, which is nice, except when I started here, my toolbox was a lot smaller. But now it's a lot bigger, and the air reel is above that where I can't get it. So I normally just have the air hose laying over here, but it got in the way, it was on the floor, got dirty. So I would either use this one or other ones in the shop. But I'm gonna take this air hose, move it to about here, because we have these workbenches, move to about here. And then on it, it split one time, so I fixed it. They had a bubble and it just burst. But these are 50-foot reels, and they'll extend like all the way to there, but I don't need 50 feet. So I'm gonna take this off, and I'm gonna put that quick connect fitting here. And I'm gonna put this second hose, I'm gonna tee it off and have it so like if I'm working on something here, I need like the die grinder or just like an air gun or something, I don't want to pull the whole hose out, especially if I'm working on a vehicle and I already have my impact connected. I don't want to disconnect it. It's not that much extra work, but like I don't want to disconnect it, bring the hose over here. I just want to have this second hose with this fitting, this extra fitting I have, just for this. So I'm going to take this tee coming out of where the whip hose goes into the reel, and the one's going to go into the reel, but then the other one, I have these barbed hose repair kits, but I'm just going to clamp it on, put this other fitting on it, and then have that second hose, and then I'll be able to use my hose reel, and I think it'll make a lot more sense than over there above the toolbox where I can't even get to it. So first what we got to do is I turned off the air up there coming down from the main line, but this is still full of probably about 100 psi because the compressor's off, but normally it'd be like 170. But so we just gotta let it all out. Yeah, there wasn't much air in those lines. But if I would have taken that fitting loose up there, it would have probably blasted, and it would have been loud and annoying. So you gotta let all the air out first. And then we gotta take this clamp loose, because that's just a normal worn clamp. So we have gotta take the clamp loose. We have to take those 10mm. I think I just put self tappers in there because I put this in probably a couple years ago. But the 10mm, and we have to take this little support bracket off, and then we'll just have to we'll take this whip hose off because this whip hose is way too short. So I have an old air hose. That's my original air hose from when I started. But that hose exploded and the reel was bad. So that's why these are two new things. But that's my original air hose. So I'm just going to cut a piece off of it and make a longer whip hose that goes to about there. Because this one obviously only goes to about there. And that's not long enough. But so yeah, you just got to take those loose. And those loose, and then we'll put new holes there and hang it up. So I pulled the old hose off. It's just these couple barbed fittings that we have because it works. I don't know, but probably just gonna leave this hose here, which will look, it'll look all janky and all, but in case anyone ever we want to move this hose reel back, I don't think we ever will, but in case we want to move this hose reel back, we have no other use for this hose other than for this hose reel. So I'm just gonna end up leaving that clamp on there, leaving that hose there. It'll be fine. It's not gonna get in the way of anything. Might look a little bad, but this is normally up anyway, so it blocks all this stuff from anyone looking. So I don't think anyone will really care. I know I won't care. So I got the other two bolts out, and these ones are loose. They're just hand tightened in there. But apparently a couple years ago when we put this new reel up, we used this wrench to tighten these quarter fittings. Apparently I've never taken it down, and there's this bolt that I don't even know what that bolt goes to. But that's good to know, I guess. I didn't even know I had this wrench. I've never been looking for it, but I have a Pittsburgh set that's in my toolbox, and that's apparently where the 14 went. Before you hold this whole thing up and try to line up the holes, really cool thing you can do is you can hold a piece of paper up and find about where it ends. It ends about here. But you can take a Sharpie and color over the holes, and it'll leave a little, it'll leave the pattern of where you're supposed to, and then you can hold that paper template up to the wall and measure out the holes without holding the whole entire reel. Kind of like this. If you put a little piece of tape, and you can kind of see the indents of where the holes are. You can, if you do it with pencil, it's easier because you can see the shadows. Because a marker's kind of bad at it, but I can see just enough where the holes are. Because that's those you like slide over the bolts and it holds it, and then you put the other two bolts in. But you can see the outlines of where the holes need to be, and then you can hold this up to the wall, up there, and use a little self center punch and just mark the holes and drill them before you put the whole entire reel up and drop it and stuff, because that's kind of heavy. It's like, it's not that heavy, but like for an air hose, it's pretty heavy if you've never picked one up. So I like to use this. It works a lot better for marking the holes. So I just double checked, and where the hole is there, you can see that tiny little mark, which means we should be good. So you want to find a drill bit. This is an 11/64. You just want to find a drill bit that's smaller than your self-tappers. I know self-tappers, I mean, they're supposed to self-tap themselves, but these have already been used. And the holes over there look a little blown out and rough. So I just want to put a tiny little pilot hole just to make it just a little bit better. So find about the center. You just want to drill the hole, and we only want to go like bare, because this is thin sheet metal, so we only want to go a little bit into the sheet metal, and then it should be fine from there, because there's some insulation and then the outside, so there's nothing in the wall. But we just want to drill a tiny little pilot hole to make the screws tighter, pretty much. Just like that is good, because we remove that. See, those are smaller than the self-tappers threads, but they're a lot cleaner holes. And we know now where to put the bolts, and we can put the 2 bolts in the bottom. We can set the reel on it, and then we can put the 2 bolts in the top, and then connect the whip hose, and we'll go. I got the reel hung up. I got the little support bracket because these walls are kind of shaky, but that support bracket. I have this new hose connected. I just got to run it over there and then connect it to that, and then after that we'll have to disconnect. Okay, we'll have to disconnect this and connect in that other fitting, and then I'll connect that, quick connect to here, and then we should be good from there. I got this hose measured out to reach over there, but before we can secure it to this, we have to put this T in so that we can put the second hose pointing down a little bit. We can just rest the hose there, but we need to have this in here so that we can have the air coming in, and then the air going out to the reel, and then going out to the secondary hose just for the workbench. So far we've gotten the new quick coupler on the main hose. We still have to add the stopper right here, because I had the stopper off because it was laying on the ground, and so I got in the way. But I need to put the stopper back on so it doesn't just spin the hose forever. But we have also got, I need to pull this quick coupler out, because or not quick coupler, this connector out, because that's where it was connected into that hose. So I need to pull that out and stick it on the T I have up there. But I have the new end on the secondary hose. I have this kind of jerry-rigged anti-kink thing because I needed to put the hose clamp on it to secure it. So I mean, that should work. If it doesn't work, I'll figure out a way to do it, but that should work. Here it is. There's the reel, there's the T to the second hose, and that's all connected and pressure tested, and we're good.